Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out his wife has been having an affair with one of her colleagues. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. I, 38 male, am a doctor. I've been married to my wife, 36, who is a journalist for about 10 years now. We have one child, 8 male. My wife and I have known each other for a while. We're family friends and practically grew up together. Our families have known each other for as long as ever. My wife has always been an ambitious woman ever since we were in college. She had a potential for success, and that was something I respected about her. Because of this, she had many opportunities to travel and take on different challenges. Recently, she got a great opportunity for a job training abroad for 6 months. I had no qualms about it and helped her prepare to move for the next few months. I couldn't follow her because of my own job and because I was also at a critical point working hard to become a professor. We also agreed it would be best if our kid could stay back with me and be with his family, as there was no point in him moving for just 6 months too. Ever since she left, I've been living with our kid, taking care of him and doing my work. People even began to assume I was a single father since they hardly see my wife around anymore. But all that didn't bother me, as I loved her so much and didn't want to become an obstacle to her career. Caring for a child was hard, especially in the absence of his mom and my busy work schedule, so I hired a caretaker. My parents and in-laws also volunteered to watch over him from time to time when I was super busy, on call, or had lectures. It's been about 3 months now since my wife traveled, and all has been good so far. One day, I received a call from her. She told me that she was in town. She had to fly back due to a work schedule, and the timing was coincidentally in tune with our son's birthday, so she wanted to spend the weekend together. I was surprised, but so excited to finally see her, and knew our son would be over the moon too. He had once mentioned how he wished his mom would be around for his birthday. We arranged for a dinner to celebrate his birthday. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because I had an emergency surgery and had to be at the hospital, so we decided they would go eat out without me. Our son has a severe peanut allergy. He's had it since childhood, so we usually avoid having anything with nuts anywhere near him. Somehow during dinner, he happened to eat something with peanuts in them and had an allergic reaction. My wife freaked out and told me they were on the way to the hospital. I rushed over to the ER and stayed until he got treated and stayed the night next to him so his mom could go home, as she had work the next day and I couldn't leave the hospital anyway. The next day, he got discharged and we went back home together. On the way, I decided to inquire about the dinner and how he ate peanuts and how he told me he had eaten some of his mom's friend's salad, which must have contained the nuts. I was really confused because my wife didn't say anything about any friend of hers joining them for dinner. I wasn't happy with that. On getting home, I decided to confront her about it. She made a bunch of excuses, saying that I was overreacting, and it was just a colleague from work that also happened to fly back with her for work. I still didn't like it, so I told her that she couldn't have strange men going out for dinner with my child without my consent. She got all angry and we had a fight, so I just walked away. The next day we were hanging out, spending time with our kid because she was due to fly back to continue her training the next day. As we were watching a movie, she stood up to go to the restroom and left her phone behind. The phone kept pinging continuously, so I picked it up to mute it and saw numerous text message notifications from some dude. I didn't have a good feeling, so I asked my son, just in case, if he could remember mom's friend's name. When he told me, it was the same person texting her. I decided to stick to the bad feeling in my gut and unlocked her phone, only to come across all sorts of message exchanges between them. I read through them and they were flirting, and then it came across the gem, "I should be the one sleeping next to you, not that oaf." To which she replied, "Patient." I was so angry and betrayed at this point, but I knew I couldn't do anything since our kid was right there. So instead, I sent pictures of the messages to my own phone for evidence and kept her phone back in place, pretending as if I had never even touched it when she returned. I still haven't figured out what to do. Do you have any advice for me? My whole world has crumbled in one giant heap. Update. I decided to do something about it and stop pretending I had no idea what she's been up to. She was supposed to fly back in a few more days, so time was running out. So some days later, when our kid was away at a friend's for a sleepover, I figured that was my best shot. While my wife was in the shower, I picked up her phone and messaged the dude pretending to be her. I asked him to come over, saying that my husband, me, was on night duty, and the kid was away from a sleepover, so we had the whole house to ourselves. Some minutes later, he pulled up unsuspectingly. He rang the bell and she opened the door, surprised to see him there and asking in a hushed tone what he was thinking coming over to her house. He said that he was here because she invited him, saying that no one was home. She denied, so he pulled up his phone and showed her the text. It was then I came out from the foyer I was hiding in to meet them, and things suddenly blew up. My wife began to yell at me, asking how dare I touch her phone, and claiming that I invaded her privacy. The dude looked shocked and tried to run, but my wife grabbed his arm. She had this insane look in her eyes that read, "If I go down, you're going with me." I already had enough of this, and kicked them both out to sort themselves out. The next day, she came knocking, asking me to hear her out for our kid's sake. I told her there was nothing to hear. If she had cared about me or our kid, she wouldn't have betrayed us like this. It was almost as if 10 years of marriage meant nothing to her. I was too hurt and pissed. I told her to get out and that I wanted a divorce. I also informed our families of what happened, and they were so disappointed in her. I've contacted my lawyer and informed I need to file for divorce. My child seems indifferent to the fact that mom won't be living with us anymore, so there may have been bigger issues that I have been unaware of in the first place. I've taken the week off to figure myself out and to be there for my child. I feel like my whole life has been upended. I'm sorry your marriage ended this way, OP. Your STBXW clearly doesn't deserve you. She threw away her family for some quick fun. You two could go for counseling, but I don't think any part of you wants to do that. So divorcing her is the best thing you can do. Taking care of your son won't be easy since you work long hours, but hopefully your families will pitch in and help you take care of him. Good luck, OP. I hope you'll be able to put all this past you soon so you two can co-parent your son peacefully. Story 2. I have an individual counseling appointment next week and asked her if she wanted to try marriage counseling, to which she denied. I, 32 male, have been with my wife, 27, for 8 years. 2+ years were long distance. We've had issues, of course. What couple doesn't? I've had anger issues since I was a teen. They're leagues better now, but still present. I yell, slam doors, slam my fist down on tables and countertops, etc. I've never touched her nor come close. She's mentioned my anger scares her, and I understand. Frequency-wise, I'd say it's a 1 to 3 times a month thing, if I'm being honest. Far more than I would like, much less her. She's asked me to go to anger management and seek treatment, and I've always agreed but never followed through. Upon exiting the military, I did undergo an exit screening, and I mentioned my anger issues. I was referred to Military One Source, which is a third-party non-medical counseling org, but again, I never followed up. That was the end of July 2019. My anger also affected me, as I would immediately feel guilty and sad that I even reacted that way, and would often avoid situations that I felt could trigger me. This led to me staying home often if she was doing things with friends, as we live in a densely populated area, so traffic, crowds, and just people in general would put me on edge. My anger would cause her to shut down. I'm a fixer, so her shutting down and not communicating with me would only add to my frustration, and thus cause her to further shut down. My issues affected our communication, but I honestly thought our marriage was good. Not great, definitely not perfect, but definitely good. We shared a ton of interests, we supported each other's passions and goals, we laughed a lot, and I can without a doubt say she's my best friend. Fast forward to the 6th of December 2019, and she asks how I felt about her hanging out with a male from her workspace. I never really had much of an issue with her and guy friends in the past. I would make a joke on occasion, and one time she legit had a friend confess his love to her after being denied by another man's wife. So of course I didn't like that much. Anyway, I didn't have much of an issue with her having another friend. But given her professional relationship, I didn't think it was a great idea, and I voiced that. She agreed and even said that I was right, and that it was rather irresponsible for her to even think about it. Now, the next 2 weeks are where everything just kind of goes sideways. She's staying late at work, ignoring my calls, not answering texts, etc. These aren't pesky or bothersome texts and calls. These are our normal routine stuff. Any requests for dinner, what time are you going to be home, how was your day, be safe coming home because traffic is bad, etc. During that time, she spent both weekends out with friends, going shopping, visiting art exhibits, driving around looking at holiday lights, getting her nails done, etc. If she hadn't been ignoring my calls and texts, I honestly wouldn't have thought much of it. But her excuses as to why she would were just awful. Plus, her timelines were terrible. For example, she would ask me if I wanted her to bring me a coffee on her way home, and this would be around 1 p.m., but then wouldn't come home until 9 p.m. and forget the coffee. In the past, if she asked me if I wanted something like that, it was because she was on her way home, so I just knew something was up. I confronted her about it and she confessed. First, she just said that he was a friend and that she didn't want me to be angry, but I knew better. She then admitted it turned physical, but only one time, and she stopped because she felt terrible. I didn't press anymore after that. My world was already shattered, and I felt completely blindsided. I honestly thought we were in a decent place marriage-wise, and her having a physical affair was the furthest from my mind. I doubt she's telling the full truth. My understanding is that the offending party hardly ever does, but I really don't need to know more at this point. I'm devastated. I spent my holiday on the couch in tears. I rarely eat, I don't sleep, and every ounce of confidence and self-esteem I had is just gone. She told me she wanted a divorce and that she wasn't interested in trying to fix things. Before my wife cheated on me, I thought I was going to want the same thing. When she confessed, I wasn't even angry. I was heartbroken, devastated, lost, sad, sure, but angry? Surprisingly, no. The day she confessed was 22 December. I spent the next 4 days trying to talk to her, get answers on what could be done, and why it ended up like this. When I found out who it was, I was in even more shock, as it could completely destroy her career and future, much less our relationship. Not to mention that the other party's currently on separation from his wife because of him cheating on her prior to all of this. It was the guy she asked to be friends with, the one I didn't think would be a good idea. She said that made her want to do it even more. She slept with him because I wanted to. I'm just hollow now. To have our world shaken up in such a short time frame is just mind-blowing to me. I haven't told anyone about the affair, just the separation part. She asked me to keep it quiet, and she's not even telling her girlfriend that she's staying with me right now. So not only do I lose my wife, best friend, and existence, but I'm sure to everyone I'm the bad guy here. I've been open about my anger issues, but quiet about the affair. I just needed to get this out there and off my chest. I've been lurking this and other subs all week, but this is the 4th night she's not in the house, and I'm lonely as all hell. I don't have any friends here, and I don't have any family, so it really hurts to start the new year off like this. For those of you who read all of this, thank you. I really appreciate it. Also, I'm safe. I have no intentions of hurting myself or others. Just want to make that clear. I'm just a sad, lonely, and broken husband who feels like a complete joke right now. Your wife cheated on you, OP, and she told you she did it because she wanted to. She won't go to marriage counseling to work it out with you, and she's probably telling people things that aren't true so they can be on her side. I'm sorry, but she sounds like an awful person. Yes, you have anger issues, you know it yourself. And even though you didn't take your anger management seriously, you are changing now, but your wife doesn't want to change. She broke her vows with no remorse. I would advise you to tell your family about what's happening. You need someone to talk to, and you also need support for whatever's going to happen. Now for some comments. Don't let her drive the narrative of what has happened. She's using your anger issues to justify her cheating. It doesn't. Reach out to family and friends. Don't let her get away with painting you as the bad guy. No time like the present for therapy to work on yourself. Also, tell about her affair. She's a cheater and she needs to face the consequences of her actions no matter what they may be. File for divorce. It sucks and it will be hard, but it's for the best. She wants to be a cheater with a cheater, so let her. You deserve better. Why in the world would you agree to keep it quiet? She is really good at manipulating you. You should not care what she wants. You do what you want. You do what you need to do to heal. File for divorce. Have her served at work. It makes her face real actual consequences for her actions. If that doesn't get her head out of her ass, you'll waste less time because there's nothing to save. If something miraculous happens, there is time before it's final. No kids? Consider yourself lucky because you can cut her out completely and find a healthy person who won't self-destruct at your expense.